Informal Conference, Part 9. You know, I thought it was informal because it was like like she showed up out of nowhere and they just threw people together. Like it wasn't formal. It wasn't like a non-formal conference, but it's probably informal conference as in it's a conference for information. So I just randomly cleared that up in my head. Other people probably already knew that. But yeah, I think it's informal as um it's a conference for information. Yep. Those are the same words though, right? Informal and informal? I don't know, whatever. Um Part 9. Who's talking? At the end of the day, the weakening of the goddess religion as per the divine word religion's intentions was a subject that couldn't be avoided. While the divine word religion wants skills and status to be raised for the sake of the system, at the same time it is spreading a network throughout the humans and has been putting in efforts in order to stabilize the world. Reducing the damage to the whole of humanity as much as possible simultaneously has the meaning of being a countermeasure towards the demons. That was a major reason why the demons struggled to conquer the humans, in spite of the demons having higher status values. Controlling them so that large-scale wars amongst the humans would not break out, the built-up stress was forced into the demons instead. Onto. That is the sort of detailed manipulation of people's opinions and information being deployed to manage the whole of humanity. However, if the goddess dies, that influence will collapse. Should the voice of God actually change, for the divine word religion that places that at the heart of its doctrine, that's surely a huge problem that cannot be avoided. No matter what, it's unavoidable for people's faith to be shaken. If many humans then convert to the goddess religion, it would be possible for reversal fortunes to occur. If the goddess religion is not as skilled as the divine word religion in dialogue capable of commanding public opinion, nor as skilled in managing information. If the divine word religion sent a covert operative into the goddess religion and then properly trained up a successor to the divine word religion, then that would probably be a different matter. But if they can put in that much time and effort, it would be easier to simply crush the goddess religion and allow the divine word religion to continue. More than anything, the goddess religion does not understand the system, so installing the goddess religion in their place is surely something that the Pope could not countenance. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Originally, it was expected that the death of the goddess would be much farther in the future, but then, because a certain someone used manipulation to cause a waste of MA energy in an attack on that measly D, hey, that was a very, very start of the whole fucking thing. It caused a precipitous, right? Like precipitation? Precipitous. I forgot what that word means. Yeah. Precipitous shortening of her lifespan. Most likely, the divine word religion had intended to cause the gradual decline of the goddess religion over many more months and years. Instead, there was a change in plans, and the situation had become severe enough that they had to quickly reduce the goddess religion's power, even if it meant war. In advance of the death of the goddess religion, the divine word religion has been steadily advancing their preparations. Part of that is involved in information manipulation, so that there won't be chaos even if the system's voice changes. They are already spreading rumors that indirectly suggesting the voice could change. Those rumors are steadily disseminating. Right, yeah. And when they have spread through the population, those rumors will even be supplemented with the legends to give them a trace of authenticity. For example, the goddess has now become pregnant and her husband is taking over the duties until childbirth. Anyhow... Okay. Without making a statement on the goddess of the goddess religion, in doing so, I'm sure they'd make a declaration that the god of the divine word religion is the god of the divine word is the goddess. There's probably people who would notice that anyway. Even if that isn't the whole truth, there's no way for the ordinary members of the public to verify that. If the divine word religion are able to make the announcement in advance, then when the voice of God does change, then it would give them credibility. Even with just the collapsing of their authority would probably be considerably reduced. However, in that case, doesn't that mean that they have no reason to crush the goddess religion? Maybe, but it's not so simple. Even within the goddess religion, there's people who regard the god of the divine word and the goddess as having the same voice. Isn't it obvious? I don't know. Well, maybe they think that they hear. I don't know. Just with the voice changing, like the Pope said, there wouldn't be many humans who would make the leap of logic that the goddess to the goddess having died. So I think that there wouldn't be really any humans who despair and lose the power to live from that. However, with regards to the god of the divine word religion and the goddesses having the same voice, that presents an opportunity that is capable of causing the goddess religion's authority to collapse instead. I'm sure this pope would be capable of doing that much. However, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't have the time. For the goddess religion to have died, that means his back would already have been to the wall after all. The reason the goddess religion hasn't been crushed yet, despite having an inconvenient truth in its doctrine, is solely because it's inconvenient as a hypothetical enemy. Or otherwise, maybe the Pope has some kind of lingering sympathy for the goddess, making it painful to crush a religion that worships the goddess. Lumping all those expectations together, the death of the goddess would involve the world in a major event. And while there's already not a moment to waste, there's no spare time to deal with the political and ideological complications of the divine word of the goddess religion. Jeez. That's why he had to crush them during this time. Even for the divine word religion, it certainly must have been very difficult to accelerate the plan for the destruction of the goddess religion by several centuries. The Nai, who at the time was seriously called the Nightmare of the Labyrinth, casually turned up and was used as a pretext to take advantage of the situation. Well, now that I think about it, I guess it couldn't be helped, huh? Back then, I didn't even really understand what the divine word religion was about, and then went about tearing up the battlefield in a fit of rage after all. So sorry. Sorry. Oh, I don't know. According to the divine word religion, they are still going ahead with the crushing of the goddess religion. It wouldn't be called a war, but in order to reduce the national power of the country of Sariera, they have been increasingly isolating them diplomatically. The current situation is that they're waiting for the country of Sariera to lose patience and attack. And when that happens, they'll be crushed right away. And even if they don't, then their ideology will be gradually rewritten. To achieve that, war orphans and the children of poor people are being adopted in secrecy and being trained in the divine word religion style. When I think it's sturdy, the Pope won't change his chosen path, even if he has to create 10,000 corpses. Then, so long as it will save 10,001 people, he will implement that without hesitation. That is a man known as Pope Dustin. I forgot what his name was. Recognized even by the Demon King, the monster amongst the humans, in a sense even more than Kuro or the Demon King. It is not possible to force this man to change his will. Unless you thoroughly prepare a path of no return for his will, the negotiations themselves are impractical. The subject of the negotiations this time was the anti-elf collaboration. Therefore, the chances of him agreeing were high. However, we ended up being obligated to surrender more of our intelligence than expected, and it felt like the talks were deadlocked. Since it's also painful for me to talk on and on, once we simply had an agreement on the collaboration towards the elves, just when I was about to scamper immediately, this time it was the vampire girl who screwed up. I seriously thought she might knock the Pope's block off. Well, if that's the case, then it would save me the effort of dealing with him in the future. So for me that was all okay. The end result was a KO loss for the vampire girl. For a mere young girl who was wavering over how she should live her life, it is painfully obvious that she would have no chance against the Sojisama, though. He's a monster of ideology who could even be called the will of humanity, you know? I've clearly witnessed your determination. Vampire girl is frozen, so I'll redo that declaration to leave that failed just earlier. I hope we shall be able to develop a beneficial relationship going forwards. I shall come again another day. All right, let's leave. Please wait. What the heck? Don't stop me. I want to go already. For the invasion of the demons, is that decided? Indeed. Whenabouts will it be? As soon as the preparations are complete. Let me leave! Very well. When do you expect to visit us again? In 10 days, at the same time. Then we shall prepare and wait in that regard. For making time in your schedule for today, you have my sincere gratitude. Likewise, for your cordial reception in spite of our sudden arrival, thank you. Then, a bow of the head, and this time teleportation is activated. The barrier? It's irrelevant. I toss Vampire Girl and Oni-kun in a suitable location in the dimension, and I teleport again. I've come to another dimension. Just for me, another dimension with nobody else. I'm worn out. I'm totally worn out. I want to simply do nothing for a while here without having to meet anybody. Or rather, I shall. When I think that I'll have to go through the same thing again in 10 days, it makes me so melancholic I could die. I feel like I want to spend the next 10 days doing nothing here. Mega. That's great. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's the informal conference. I had a thought earlier about a thing, which was like a few days ago. How is the manga gonna do this? If the manga ever gets to this, how in the world is it going to do this, right? Because I mean, I'm not even caught up with the manga. I read a good bit of it. And it's like, and it's cute and it's fun. And she's, she's the spider girl, but as the spider, she's like really expressive and really fun and really crazy. Because that's how she is in the novel. But if I recall correctly, in the novel, she's like that in her head. She's not actually doing a bunch of crazy, like doing spider dances or things like that. I mean, she might do a little bit of exaggerated movements or whatever. Um, but especially around people, she's nothing, right? Whenever she's around people, except when she's drunk, her facial expression doesn't change. She's just taciturn. She is just there. How is the novel? How is the manga gonna pull that off, right? Especially with the inner dialogues. Is it just going to be blocks of text in her head? I, good luck to those people if they ever get to hear, because that's just gonna be like really weird. I feel like it would be easier in an animation because like in anime you could just zoom into her head very easily and then just have things going on in her head and then zoom out. But in a manga, yeah, you can do that, but it's harder to illustrate that without the literal motion. You have to be like thought bubbles or dreams or like, because you can't do the individual frames of entering and exiting without wasting a bunch of panels, which is dumb. I don't know how they're gonna do it. That was a little thought I had. Uh so yeah.